guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can see, I'm gonna be sharing my labor and delivery story with you guys, how it went. Let's get straight in. So on the 13th of August, I had my prenatal routine visit, and I had asked my doctor to check my cervix because I know something was going on with my body. I felt something different. I could feel my body, changing. I could feel my hips widening, my vagina feel like it would open from time to time, and I had a very active baby in there, and sometimes he would push and push and push his head. Yes, and so whenever he pushed his head, I could feel my verryyyy popping, or I could feel something down there popping. So I said to her, Doc, I wanted to check my cervix because I'm curious just to see if I started dilating. At this point, my due date was estimated to be the 11th of September of this year, and this was the 13th of August, but you never know, anything can happen. So she did check my cervix, and she was so surprised. My baby waking up, I was 2 centimeters dilated, sis. All of 2 on my own first baby. Milk monster, wake up. You can only get to see his head. After stumbling upon the fact that I was at 2 centimeters, I had already started to adjust my mind in regards to my due date, and I started to think, I know the baby could always come before or after, but I was like, definitely he's coming before. But it takes a while for people to dilate. Sometimes it depends. Everybody's body is different. I went to New York on the 16th to go see my dad. I spent almost a week with him, and I got there on the 16th, and on the 17th excruciating, crippling back pain woke me up out of my sleep, you guys. Like, the pain was crippling. I couldn't turn. I don't know if I should turn left, if I should turn right. It was almost the worst pain that I had ever felt in my entire life. I have a high pain tolerance as well. Anyway, I felt the worst pain ever in my spine, in my pelvic area there, and then the baby was pushing, and so whenever he pushed, it feel like my spine was going to tear out, or something in the bottom of my belly was going to tear out. On a scale of 1 to 10, the pain was a solid 10, and it kept pushing, and it just feel like something in my belly bottom sometimes was just going to rip out. Like, he pushed to the point where whenever he wasn't pushing, down there was so tender. And the second day of feeling that type of pain, called my OB, and I explained it to her, and she had said, it sounds as though the baby was in a sunny side up position. That's a posterior position. That's when your baby is head down, however the face is up. So instead of the baby's face facing my spine, it appeared as though his face was facing my belly button, and as a result, whenever he moved, he was pressing on my spine. She did tell me I could take Tylenol. She gave me a few exercises I could do to relieve that pain, and to also try to, well, I was under the impression that those exercises could also turn the baby as well, make him go face down instead of face up. So started practicing those exercises where I'd go on my knees, and I'd go on my elbows on my knees and my hands, and I'd try to rock the pain out, and I found myself doing that so often throughout the day, throughout the night. It got to the point where I couldn't sleep, and I peed so much, and it was just the absolute worst, the worst. I felt that pain for 4 days. So she advised me to take Tylenol, do those exercises. She did mention that if I am contracting, I should go to the ER or whatever. When my stomach got tight, I thought the baby was just stretching, because I thought the space was just small and I'm stretching. So whenever he stretched or I contracted, my chest would get really tight, and I feel like I couldn't breathe. And little did I know that I was contracting. So prior to that, I had been experiencing Baxter Hicks. Like I said, first time mom. On August 20th, I did decide to come back to Connecticut and go to the ER because the pain wasn't getting any better. And I just wanted to be sure that everything was okay, because I had plans. I wanted to go to New Jersey over the weekend. So I go into the ER on the 20th. That was a Thursday, around 8 o'clock in the night, obviously. And turns out I was in pre-labor this whole time, or early labor. They got me to the triage area. They did put on a monitor on me to monitor the contractions and monitor the baby. I thought I wasn't contracting. Little did I know, hey, I was contracting. So turns out they checked my cervix and I was at 4 centimeters. So within the space of 5 days plus those 4 days, I had moved from 2 centimeters to 4 centimeters. Now this is considered early labor before you go into active labor. So they did say, hey, we're gonna get you started on an IV and we're gonna admit you. So we got all excited, you know. I had went by myself because I didn't know if my mom could come. And then after I had her Uber, I had her come. So when they said they're going to admit me, I had ended up sending her back home on another Uber to go get the baby's car seat and all of that, hospital bags, stuff like that. She came back with the stuff. We were there for a few hours. I described the pain to them, you know, they check on me. They were going to move me to a delivery room. Turns out every time I'm supposed to get the room, they're like, oh, somebody else has gotten the room, we have a full house tonight, you know, everyone decided to have a baby tonight or whatever. So turns out I never got that room, that private room. I was still in the triage area for a few hours. After a few hours, they had come to me and they said to me, how are you feeling now? They checked me again. I was still at 4 centimeters hours later. So they decided to send me home because they said my contractions were too far apart. They weren't consistent. And they noticed this when they put me on the drip. And they were going to give me this thing called Pitocin to make them come closer. But they didn't want to do that, and then it don't work. And then they have to induce me, and then that don't work, and then they have to cut me. So I thought it was just a bag of excuses at the time because they didn't have enough space, but it actually made sense. So they did send me home for me to labor peacefully, and they did say if your water break or if your contractions start coming closer, then just come back or whatever. So I went home and the pain continued, you know. A few days later, however, on the 24th, so that was the 20th, I ended up going back on the 24th because the contractions were still inconsistent. They weren't coming close, but I woke up with this very nauseous feeling, and my friend had told me that she has a friend that actually peed out all of her water, so her water broke and she didn't know, and she ended up having dry birth, and I was peeing way much more than I normally pee, and I already pee a lot. Well, used to. So I'm like, so I checked myself in again around minutes to 11 o'clock in the night, and yeah, still 4 centimeters, still got sent home saying, you know, take pill, take Tylenol or whatever. So I got sent home around 1 a.m. At this point I'm like, I'm not going back or whatever. But you know, these people, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if my water break. I don't know what. I don't know. So they checked to see if my water broke this time actually. You know, they did put some liquid under this scope thing, and she checked, because when she checked my cervix, she couldn't feel the bag or whatever. So I'm like, oh, maybe we're getting somewhere. Anyway, I went home and the pain continued. It continued. And I just tried to cope. To be honest, I ended up getting Tylenol, but I remember taking it 5 days later on the 29th. Wow, the side and the back pain start back, excruciating. Start back. I did everything. I did the exercises. I took a sock and I got rice, put it in the microwave for like a minute and 30 seconds, and I used that as a heating pad. I could not find a comfortable spot. On top of that, I had to pee so much. I had to fight to pee. My sister had to be coming around here to help me to get up out of bed. For myself, twinkling myself. At this point, I'm fully contracting because I am now aware of what contractions feel like. So I'm fully contracting on each contraction. On a scale from 1 to 10, the pain is a solid 12, 13. Girl, let me tell you, I'm not telling no lie. I have 3 pain in my field. That one in second place. Continue that night, I don't get to sleep. So what I did was, when I realized that I was contracting, I got my phone and I did write down the times, you know, that I was contracting. I wrote them down, and whenever I couldn't type it out, it was pretty annoying. whenever I couldn't type it, see, I have it here. I bared it, but it felt unbearable and unbelievable. So there I was on my knees and my hands trying to rock out the pain, because I'm like, I don't want to go back to the hospital and have them send me home again. I decided to take a notebook, look through my phone, and I started grouping the contractions. So I had been having them from 11 minutes apart down to 3 minutes apart. What I did, I count and I write them down and I group them. So I had one contraction 11 minutes apart, and it went down straight down 10, 8, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4 down to 3, and I counted them, and I had been having contractions 6 minutes apart and 4 minutes apart. Those are the most frequent ones. So I called the hospital and I described everything to her. I told her how I was feeling, I told her I was contracting, I told her how far apart the contractions were and all of that. So I'm a first time mom, and I'm like, this pain feels really different, you know, whatever. It's like unbearable or whatever, and I'm really contracting at this point. This is normal, what you're feeling is pretty normal. Did your water break? Yeah, so it's totally normal. Because you are in labor, but we do need the contractions to be closer. They don't need to be more than 5 minutes apart. So just take Tylenol. You can take 3 every 6 hours, and you could do breathing exercises, and you could work out your knees and your hands. No ma'am, I don't know if my water broke. I just know I'm peeing more often. I just know something I want great amount of peeing. Lady, me I do the breathing exercises. I'm doing everything and it's not working. So I'm thinking she's gonna tell me to come in and, you know, get checked up just to be safe. This lady telling me that the contractions need to be 5 minutes apart exactly or less. So I got frustrated, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm like, well, can't you guys make them come closer, because I can't survive. Like, I can't. At this point, it's the 24th, the 29th, and oh, the 30th. Yeah, it's the 30th, and I cannot survive this. It was a Sunday, I can't forget. So I'm like, really, I forgot 2 more weeks with this. So I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna go to no freaking hospital, because they're just gonna send me home again. I don't drive, okay, and Uber gets expensive over time. So I'm like, if anything happens, then I'm blaming them, because she should have told me to come in, to come get checked out again or something, because you don't know what's going on. My mom was cooking and she was like, you know, I'm not having this. I've never seen you like this. So we are going to the ER and I'm not having it. I'm not sending you home again, like really and truly. She was like, you need to go to the hospital. I'll come when I'm done cooking. So I'm like, nah sis, at this point I'm waiting on you, because I don't think these people are taking me seriously. Whatever. So my mom was like, I don't need you to lie, but you need to tell them that everywhere hurts this time, because like they really need to take it seriously. And I didn't even have to do that. I was in full-blown labor. Finally we got there and they took me to we checked in maybe minutes, and when I got in they took me to the triage room again. And immediately they called for a resident. By the way, he's adorable, and they hooked me up, of course. You know, the nurse asked you questions, just screen you, so you could monitor that. And the resident came in, and when he checked my cervix, I was at 6 centimeters dilated. We're gonna get you admitted right away. And at this point, things started coming along to get me admitted, and they started my IV shortly after. And I was there for maybe an hour or maybe less. I'm not even sure. I wasn't even keeping track of the time at this point, because I was in pain. Like I said, I was there cracking jokes, flirting with that cute doctor, but I was really in pain. I can remember crying really, right? So I'm like, what the hell? They're like, yep, ain't no sending you home. We're gonna get you admitted right away. And at this point, things started coming along. Immediately they you know, write up whatever to get me admitted, and they started my IV shortly after, and I was there for maybe an hour or maybe less. I'm not even sure. I wasn't even keeping track of the time at this point because I was in pain. Like I said, I was there cracking jokes, flirting with that cute doctor, but I was really in pain. I can remember crying really badly at one point before they moved me to the delivery room. Anyway, they moved me to the delivery room finally. The doctor, I don't even remember what they call him, but the doctor that gives you that epidural, he came in. The nurse was really nice. My mom was there with me holding my hand. Yeah, I was so scared about the epidural because everybody make it seem so scary, you know, it going in his spine or whatever. But to be honest, I flinched a bit, but I didn't flinch to the point where I got any nerve damage or anything. Thank the good Lord. You know, they have you slouch and they stick you in your back or whatever to numb the area, and then they put you in the tube. And I just felt something cool rushing through my body. You know, it felt good, and you know, they gave me heads up, you won't be able to move your legs and we're gonna put in a catheter. I didn't like how it feel, and I feel like that was because the epidural never kicked in right away, but I could feel something there and it never feel nice. Over time, I didn't feel anything and I was thankful, but there was just this pinching feeling like something was burning me. So basically, so yeah, my mom had snacks and stuff, and they came in a few hours later and checked me. My cervix was dilated to 7 centimeters at this point. And shortly after, I'm not sure how long after, but it wasn't long because everything just started going so quickly, you know. Shortly after, I was at 8 centimeters. He broke my water and I felt this really warm thing just running, you know. I don't even know if it's at 2 hours after our hour, you know, on the monitor. What's wrong with this? This is not normal. So I pressed my phone thingy and I called the nurse, and he came in with the doctor. So I'm like, is this okay? The baby's heart rate looked like it's fluctuating to me. And the doctor with his cute ass self was like, yeah, we were wondering if that's what we were seeing. So he was like, time to push. So I started laughing at them. I couldn't stop laughing. Yo, they were dying because I had one doctor, one resident, well, 2 residents and 1 nurse at first, and my mom. And they laughed so till they laugh, and I was there like cracking them up. I was just doing a lot of random stuff. He was like, she's gonna laugh this baby out. Yeah, definitely she's gonna laugh this baby out. There I was laughing until the shit got real. I was just like, alright, let me behave myself, let me stop laughing, and let us get to this, let us do this. So I started pushing at 2:50 a.m. Yes. And you know, if you have a baby and you did it vaginally, you know the ropes. You push on every contraction. You push. They count to 10 3 times or 4, and you push. So there I am pushing. You know, pushing and me and push. You know, at first I was pushing, but I wasn't really breathing. And I had to get that breathing under control as we went in more and more gradually, you know. And whatever. Until maybe 1 hour 30 minutes in, I don't know, my eye them just start get dizzy. Like, I'm feeling tired. So I'm like, can I sleep? So they're like, you could close your eyes, you know, you could get rest in between, but you know, don't sleep. And because remember, I'm not feeling no type of pain. I know a lot of persons beg to differ, but me not feel no pain. I'm just feeling a lot of pressure down there, and the baby, I was just feeling contractions, and I was just pushing, feel like me I push out my life. But that, I did close my eyes whenever I got a break. I closed my eyes. I said, no man, I'll me a push. And I said, okay, good job. I'm like, yay, and my next push is gonna be the baby. Ross, I'll me a push. All me and push. The baby can't come yet. I'm like, this is crazy. At this point, I'm fully drowsy, and I start flirting with the man. He's so cute. He has the nicest eyes. He's just so adorable. Until things start get serious. When we got to the 2-hour mark, I believe a lot of other doctors started coming in, and at this, my baby was in an almost sunny side up position, and his face was turned to the side. So therefore I had like 6 doctors with them hands in, not at once, but all trying to take turns to turn this baby's face, because apparently because his face was turned to the side, that was what was causing the extreme difficulty. Yeah, that was what was making him take so long to come out, you know, to actually pop out. But wait, before we got to that point, they're like, I could see his head, you want to touch it? And I'm like, no, I don't want to touch it. I want to get over this. I want him to come out. No. So I told my mom, go look, you know, because I'm not, at this point everybody has to underneath me, so why my mother can't see? So I'm like, don't be scared, go look. I'm like, Mom, touch his head. So my mom touched his head. I told them, get me a mirror, like get me a mirror. So they got me a long mirror, positioned it right in front of me, and there I was pushing, watching everything I want to see. And when I finally feel confident enough to touch him head, then I did. Anyways, back to the part where the doctors came in, like trying to turn the baby, like for a good while, like almost an hour, trying to turn the baby's face, and while them fingers there inside of me doing all kind of stuff, and you know, I have to be pushing. So at some point they had their fingers inside of me and they're like, okay, we want you to push, like you're pooping. I'm like, I never pushed this hard to poop. What do you mean? You know, they're like, push down here, push in your butt. And so that's when I started getting the breathing better and pushing and everything, because I was doing well. Like they said, I was doing good. Yeah, and it just got really overwhelming at this point. I'm screaming, I'm crying because I'm in so much pain. I'm screaming like a brat at this point because I'm frustrated, I'm in pain, I'm scared, you know. And almost 3 hours in, they said to me, Mom, baby's stubborn, he's not coming out. We're gonna try to help guide him out, you know. And if this doesn't work, then we're gonna have to take you to the OR. Imagine being 10 centimeters dilated, pushing to the point where you can't touch your baby head. Only for ears say, if this don't work, them going to cut me. I started bawling my eyes out even more because I'm scared. I don't want to get a C-section. What if I'm gonna survive? You know, all of that starts cross my mind. And they're like, we need you to push with everything that you have. We need you to push with all your strength, all your might. I'm like, but I have none. I've been doing that, you know. But I did listen, and you know, my mom started crying as well. So I'm like, my mom, she's crying, she's scared. And I never seen my mom scared like that, you know. My mom had her reasons though. Apparently she had been having some dreams about that same situation. The difference is in her dream, the baby made it, I didn't. So she know why she did cry. I never know all this until after. So I said to her, Mom, please go take a walk, please. Because like I'm feeding from her. So she did go to the bathroom. I guess she went to pray or whatever. When she come back, I could feel them guiding the baby out. So I'm there pushing. They're like, push, you're doing good, push. I'm there pushing, and I can feel him sliding out at this point. So I had to do vacuum birth, basically. By the time I lock my eye and open it, I roughly like 8 doctors in the room, no one, you know? Or maybe like 6 doctors see me and 2 more nurses come in, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, that's crazy. And so they used this suction thing, they put it on his head, and they helped me to pull him out. I don't know exactly what they were doing, but I could feel him coming out, like I say. Finally, he popped out, and I heard a great amount of cheering. They were just there cheering me on. They were like, you did it, yay, you did it. And I'm like, why isn't he crying? Because he wasn't crying, he had stuff in his mouth. And so, important piece of information left out of the other one. They were like, congratulations. And guys, I don't know what happened after that. May think my knock out or something, because not for long, but my mom cut the umbilical cord and me never know. I never saw this. I don't know. I don't even know when they took the placenta out. I don't know anything. I just know I got a 2nd-degree tear stitch, and after they stitched me up, they checked to see if there were any more tears. Baby boy was born at 5:31 a.m. on August 31st at 7 pounds 5 ounces. Ain't got good. I'm just so grateful though, as much as it hurt and as painful as it is, and I do think it was a little bit traumatic for me. Maybe I don't feel that way right now, but in the first days after having the baby, I was a little bit traumatized. Thankful for my mother, thankful for my supportive family. Unfortunately, his dad was unable to make it for the birth, but you know, support still there. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you are a mom yourself and you want to share any significant part of your labor and delivery story, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. I'd love to see. I'd love to read. I'd love to hear. Share this video if you want. I guess people will, or maybe not. But yeah, this is the end of my labor and delivery story. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in my next one.